New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good afternoon and welcome to Finding the Joy in the Journey. I am Rev Gina and I am blessed to be here with you today on this show that is here to help us recognize the joys in our lives. It's to help us slow down, be present enough to be joyful. I believe with all of my being that divine is all there is. And within that allness, within that oneness, joy is an innate quality of. Therefore, I have it. There's nowhere that spirit is not, therefore there is nowhere that joy isn't possible. I have had times in my life that things were so dark and sometimes so bright, but no matter where, there was always a child playing or laughing, or a sitcom that I could watch that would make whatever seemed so dark in the moment joyful again. See, oftentimes we look at this mountain that we have to climb, this thing called life, and we think, I've got to get there, I've got to get there, I've got to get there. Always looking at the top. And the truth is, there's a beautiful view every step of the way, and you don't want to miss it. You know, this isn't a race. We often our society tells us bigger, better, faster, more, but it's not really who we are or what we need. So this show is about coming to that place of understanding and knowing that it's not about the destination. It's about how we get there and being in this moment where all our power is right now. So I have guests that come on from all different backgrounds, and they share with us how they do that. And not only how they do it, but how they help others to do it. How they help people find the joy within them now. Not as a destination. And that's what I call it, destination happiness. Well, when I have this, then I'll be happy. When I lose weight, when I take that class, when I get the right job, when I meet the right person. No, right here, right now, joy is present. Let's live in it. Let's expect it. And let's get more of it. And the way we experience more of it is by being around people who are helping us uncover it. So I have invited Jennifer Urezzio to come back to help us do just that. She's an amazing woman who helps people find their soul language. She is a wonderful person that will help her clients. Well, you know what? She's a prominent figure in field of personal development and spiritual growth. And as a gifted, intuitive, and healer, she has devoted her life to helping others discover their own unique soul languages and embrace their true essence. Jennifer's journey began with her own pursuit of self-discovery, which eventually led her to develop a revolutionary system known as the soul language. Jennifer is also a master intuitive and the author of 2 best-selling books. Currently, she's trained over 30 practitioners worldwide in soul language. And there are over 5,000 individuals all over the world connecting to their soul languages because of the work that she does. So I am so happy to invite you in. Thank you for being here today. How have you been?
I've been good. Thank you again for another opportunity to come back. I've been good. Yeah. No major complaints. Well, there was some, but they're over now.
We didn't hit the lottery, you know?
Yeah, you have to play it. I hit the lottery with the divine almost every day. So I'm hitting the lottery.
As a true coach, good answer. I also play. Not all the time, but once in a while, you know, I'll take that chance.
I love it.
I put no limits on how my good can come to me.
I love it. Hold on. Okay, so I have this little globe on my desk.
Yes.
I have 2 of them. And the second one rolled off the desk yesterday, and we have not been able to find it. And this one just went crazy. So we're good.
Things are moving about.
Look, we can see her little ears behind you.
My little ears, my cat probably is behind me. She'll peek up. She'll come around. Poe. So when you were here last time around, you spoke a lot about because I found it very fascinating, your book Soul Language, and really talking about this process. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit about it. Just, I mean, people can always go back and find more from your website, or even our last episode, they can go back on YouTube. So tell me, what is the soul language?
Yeah, I was asking these really big questions. How do I find my people? What, I know what I was here to kind of my purpose, but how do I reach my community, and why do I feel this way about this thing and guided about that thing? And what I heard through divine guidance was, oh, that's soul language. And I was like, okay, tell me more. And before long, I had this paradigm that I downloaded called soul language, which puts tangibility to soul and the soul of a business. Why do you want that? You want that because we all really want to know that we have a place in this world. We want ease, we want freedom, we want grace. And the way to receive all that is by tuning in and receiving the guidance from your soul. And so humans love words for things. So we put some words around something that's extremely intangible by understanding and identifying your 3 core energies of soul, your mission, which is, most people think their mission is about someone else, and it's not. It's what you're profoundly here to experience, and then offer that experience to others. The second category is about how you'll be known here. And then the third category is all about your soulful personality. So when you understand your soul languages, you really understand how to move from pain and struggle to consciousness. And then life becomes just a giant game of fun, because if you're experiencing a challenge, you could go in and go, okay, what do I get to accept or activate or let go of or allow for this frequency of this experience to change? And that allows you to attract more good in the world, to experience more joy and more happiness. So that's the paradigm of soul language. Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
So that's okay.
It's along the lines of like an Enneagram or that type of,
yes.
It's more heart-centered.
Yeah, not only that, but, Enneagram, human design, they're all great tools to put some words around characteristics and personalities. With soul language, it's a direct connection to your higher self, to your soul. And Enneagram and human design, what I've seen is a lot of people utilize that as a codependent mechanism. So they'll go, I'm a manifester. This is why I do that. And I go, you can hear the roll eye in my voice. Okay, what co-creative decision are you going to make? Like, right? This really allows you to co-create with your soul instead of using something to justify or determine what action to take. This really allows you to tap into that soulful guidance, that intuition on a multiple of levels. So you can actually take actions and steps that create the life that you desire versus almost like taking, sorry, the hiccups, almost like taking a test from your guidance office and going, okay, here's what I'm supposed to do. And then not making any free will decisions around it.
And it's also, I think, when we are dealing with spirit too, it gives us an opportunity to go deeper into who we really are.
Yeah. And express it, right? To reveal more of your essential nature and embody that versus embodying the pain and programming of your experiences.
And we all had different traumatic experiences. As a child, there's things that we were not in control of any of it. And today we are. I'm actually, I'm taking a class on quantum living, and it has been helpful. And it's taken me right back to childhood, like early, like infancy. And like, where are these things? But these are all tools to help us live our best life now.
Yeah.
You know, to take away the crutches and the excuses of, you know, because like you said, the Enneagram can say, well, that's my, and these may be patterns, but are they serving us?
Right.
Because
and
everything.
What do you want to do with it? Yeah. Sorry, there's a delay sometimes.
Sorry. There's two sides, because even a character defect, quote unquote, has a positive.
Yeah.
You know, you may be pushy, but you may be able to use that as an advocate.
So, and I would say focused. Right.
Well, it depends on what it is, how you do it, where you do it, you know, the why behind it, and the manner in which all of those things can come together, and it ends up being one of your greatest attributes.
Agreed.
So it's learning how, and then how many of us think, well, I'm not that important to be an advocate, to be and the answer is yes. You know, as a spiritual warrior, I love that term. You know, we are the ones that need to make the changes in the world today. We are the change we wish to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to change the world, you can only change it first with yourself, right? And then you put different things into every relationship field that you're in. And this whole planet is based on relationship fields, right? We are in a relationship field. I'm a relationship with money. I'm in a relationship field with my dog. And so if I keep putting the same pain and programming into that relationship field, 10 to 1, it's going to act the same. And so when we change what we're putting in and we're putting more consciousness in, we're going to get different results.
Yes. And it's recognizing which ones are working and which ones are not.
Agreed.
There are some things that are, you know, second nature, a given. And that in my life, I can manifest and attract with no problem. And then there's other things that are not. So it's learning how to shift, because if I can do it with one thing, I can do it with anything. You know,
agreed.
The last two houses that I lived in found me. Literally, the first ones I looked at, it was the one, and I was living there. And it happened very quickly, easily, boom. The last 3 or 4 jobs I had, you know, before this coaching, you know, that found me. So it's one of those things that, again, there's certain things that it's easy, and other things that the experience isn't. So it's finding, okay, so how do I maintain what's good in my life and now step up and walk into the other?
Yeah, beautiful. And to be without judgment for yourself, to keep offering yourself love, to also know that you don't have to be perfect, right? And, you know, to welcome in that whatever you call your higher power has your back.
Yes. The universe.
Yeah, universe, tree, Bob, God, cupcake, I don't care.
Whatever you call it, absolutely. Because, you know, I always say it as there's something that rose the sun and something that set it. It wasn't me. Whatever you call that, that's that power.
Beautiful.
That's how I look at it. One of the things I really wanted to speak with you about today, and I see it in a lot of the things that, the workshops and stuff that you do, and like little, like people get restless, and our society is very restless. When you look on social media, there's a lot of angst. And I think that's restlessness. I think it's more than that, but there's that underlying, like people are ready to pounce sometimes in the easiest way. And it's like, we lost a filter somewhere along the way. And I would love, because I know part of coaching is that restlessness that pushes us to want more. So we find someone that can help us get the more. And that's one of the things you're great at.
Okay.
So what do you see out there when it comes to that?
I think we've misinterpreted what, sharing our truth is about. Our sharing our truth is, there's little T's of truth and there's big T's of truth. The big T's of truth is that we're all whole and complete, that we all are, in my verbiage, children of God, and that we all have the right to experience abundance, prosperity, freedom, peace. We're throwing around what we believe our little truths are, and we're not being true collaborators. If we want to be a true collaborator, then I have to be willing to accept your little T, whether I agree with it or not. And that's not about little T's that are separation related. And I think people are using their separation, what they think is truth, as a truth that they get to throw around with, right? None of those truths that tend to be separational kind of subjects are loving, are kind, are compassionate, are whole and complete. And I think that's what's happening. We're playing dodgeball with what people call truth.
You're right. The lowercase t's with basically their personal opinion or beliefs. And I think you're right that there's a lot of, at the end of the day, everybody wants to be able to go to the grocery store and buy what they need comfortably. At the end of the day, everybody's worried about rents, mortgages, taxes, the same stuff. We have so much that we are one with. And yet, yes, you have politics and I think that the worst, to me, the greatest injustice is when people use any form of religion to be anything but loving.
Yeah, they're using the structure, right? They're not using the principles of spirituality or religion. They're using the structures, and humans are really good at taking something and twisting it for their own use. That also could be used as a superpower to take something and improve upon it, right? To spread the word in a way that supports everyone, no matter what they believe in. But we've been taught from a little age, like we need to have a tribe, a community. And we're taught also to be frightened of people who think differently, feel differently than us. And so when we can't often find a common ground, humans attack instead of going, okay, like where are we in common understanding? How can we improve upon that? And the last couple of years have been, some serious leadership in the direction of let's see where we're different and let's use it against each other to create, fighting and pain and sorrow. And that's not change. that's anarchy, really.
Yes. And I want to mention that we are we're live, and anybody can ask any question that they'd
Anything
like.
they want.
We would love for you to let anything that's on your mind, any questions you may have on anything we discuss. So thank you for being here with us, and we'd love to hear from you wherever you are, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. We're glad you're here with us. So, one of the things for me with the restlessness is that I experience, my husband experiences, when we're online, there's so many different things that are going on. My TV is in the same space as my computer is. So oftentimes there's two things going on, and sometimes three with the phone. So I'll be doing three things at once. And I think that that's part of the restlessness, that we've gotten to the point that we're so overstimulated that
Yeah.
still, even conversations, people pick up their phone and start looking at things and don't realize they're doing it. That there's so much overstimulation in life today and so many messages coming at us that if we're not consciously filtering them out, we're distracted and not going to get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, I just read a couple of weeks ago, there's this brain scientist who says that multitasking is actually not helping our brains. Like, it just doesn't help our brains. So think about that for a moment. Like, I don't want to do any damage to my brain. Like, I like my brain, right? I think that, all of the information that comes to us is really giving us a choice to be disconnected, and puts us on this wheel of, oh my God, I've got to have this, I've got to be better than this. It's and humans have been doing that in different ways, right? We're just now using visuals and electronics to do that. I think that the key is to just pause for a moment, at least twice a day, and really go, what am I feeling? What do I want? And what can I accept about myself in order to receive what I want to experience? And is this experience really serving me? Do I like this experience, or am I just on the wheel?
And it's recognizing our triggers. There are things that come up that for me, can completely derail me for an hour or for a day if I let it.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation that really triggered me earlier, and I put on a song, and I closed my eyes for 15 minutes and listened to this song. I have a mantra song, and it's actually called "I Release Control." You can look at it. It's on YouTube and wherever, but I can't think of the person's name, unfortunately. But it reminds me, it's a 9-minute mantra of, there's hands that are bigger than mine. Give it all, let it all go, and be in your power. And that I can't give it away by being angry and be in it and functional at the same time. Even more, I can't be in joy. I can't be in a place of appreciation for where I am when I'm frustrated with anyone.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention part of why I really, I don't know what it is about this particular one, but you have a newsletter that I want people to make sure that they sign up for. And I want them to, I'm going to put that down there. They can reach you. That's your website and your email. I want to make sure that people know how to get to you.
Yeah.
But you send out really, to the point. Like, you don't go on and on for, it's not that long, because I lose, I end up losing, I can't focus that
all those pages drive me. I'm like, get to the point.
Exactly.
I don't need to know what color socks you're wearing, or what you did at 10:45. Just tell me the point of the story. So that's the way I write.
And you in this email, you were very succinct about it, and you just came out, and basically you want a successful life, you want a successful business, you have to create, it's created by understanding your vision. And you went through 3 points on how to do that. So I would love for you to talk a little bit about that and tell people about that. And I think that that's really when it comes to, those are those reminders that we can get that can help us take 10 minutes and say, oh, okay. So now the first thing it says, you had a very simple structure, a 3-point structure. And the first one was vision. So if you can explain that to people.
Yeah, I think so often people they think that they have a vision and they really don't understand what their vision is. And our vision is always going to be a little bigger than we can actually think we can create. And it's not going to be as big as the vision of the divine, right? So I always ask people to, really understand all parts of their vision. Like, what is your vision for your finances? What is your vision for sacred purpose? What is your vision, for your relationships? I think so often that people, have a 1 or 2-dimensional vision. And then by understanding that vision, you can create those activities that align with their vision. So my vision is pretty simple, and you could go simple or big. You could kind of sketch out all of the things you want to experience. Like, my vision this year includes 2 trips out of the country. I want to increase my list size. I want to have a better relationship with my husband, whatever. My vision is always freedom. So I always measure what activities I do, whether it aligns with freedom or not.
And I love that. Freedom is actually a word that I've been using a lot this past even week. It's just, when you really think about it, we are free. If I don't like how I'm feeling, I can do something different. I can watch something on TV that makes me happy, that makes me, laugh. I can go, if one of the things that I'll in an instant prayer, I will say, beautify my thoughts. And I did that today. The person walked out, and I did that today, and I saw my grandchildren on Easter and their little ears on and all that. And it was just a smile came over my face. And that's when I say joy is always present. You can always get back there, but it's up to us to set those touchstones to get back there. Yeah. So whether it's having that set up time that, at 11 a.m. as my break time, I'm going to take 5 minutes. Or if it's, maybe it's going for a walk at lunch, because you don't have to, we don't need to be in a place of, when it comes to, it doesn't have to be an hour-long yoga class.
Or at the top of a mountain, right? Like, I really stress that tools need to be integrated into your life. If they're not, you're not going to use them, right?
Every day.
Right. And so, the simple question that you can ask yourself to create your vision is, what do I really want to experience? Right? I think also people tend to associate with vision with their purpose, and they tend to associate their purpose with everyone else but themselves, right? Your vision, your purpose is first for you and then for other people. You have to complete that giving and receiving cycle. You can't always be giving all the time.
And I love that. And it's the receiving, giving, and I was raised with that, the false belief of there are givers and there are takers. And the truth is, it needs to be both, or you're blocking.
Right.
You're not going to receive your good if you can't accept it. How many people I've worked with that, you think they can't even receive a compliment. Let me help you with that. Oh, no, I've got it. Well, let somebody help you. And I've had people that their assignment for the day was literally, you have to ask for 3 things today. I don't care if it's for someone to get you a paper towel out of the kitchen.
Right.
but you need to ask for, but I could get it myself. You could, but you're learning how to ask for what you need. The universe will hear you and will follow up.
Yeah, who do you think the universe is going to provide you with the things you need? Humans, right? And if you're not willing to ask humans, be supported by humans, it's going to be really hard.
Absolutely. And I read something yesterday, and as you say that, I'm going to read it because I loved it. It said, a traveler was wandering through a town when he came across a crippled beggar, then an old man being beaten, and then the funeral of a young child.
Hmm.
He fell into a spell of pain, distraught from all that he had witnessed. He ran out of the town into the vast silence of the desert at night and screamed to God, "Oh, why, God? Why is there just so much pain? Why is there so much oppression, so much injustice? Why don't you do something?" The man laid on the desert floor crying when he heard a voice from within. "I did do something. I created you."
Hmm.
And that's from A. Helwa, Secrets of Divine Love. And it really, and it's not that I've never gotten that sentiment from anything, but it really hit me yesterday because everybody's always like, why does this happen? And all these injustices and why? Well, we're here to be the change we wish to see. And it can be intimidating to think, I have to fix this.
Right.
And I don't have to fix anything but me. I just need to do my part in making sure I'm leaning on the positive side. I don't need to fix anyone else. And when we do that, it shifts things. I don't think people set out to be negative, it's unintentional. So when I set my intention of love, it's at a much higher vibration from the people that are unintentionally not being that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so often people want love in a certain way, and they're actually keeping themselves from really experiencing all kinds of love.
Yes. So I'm going to get back to this. I took the detour. I apologize.
Oh,
So
I love detours.
on your vision, the first part was, the first part of having that successful life in business is the vision, and the second part is activities. So what does that mean to you?
Yeah, you have to do those activities that align with the vision. I think a lot of us do a lot of activities that we're told to do. The perfect example of this is I was working with a client. She's like, I got to do a newsletter. I was like, well, do you want to? And she's like, no. I was like, does it align with your vision? And she's like, not really. And I was like, why are you doing it? And she's like, because I was told to. When we do those activities that align with our vision, it actually allows individuals to find us, to experience us, and for us to receive what we want in a bigger way. If you're doing activities because you're told to do, or you're doing activities in a consciousness of lack or not joy, it's going to create a problem, and that's going to add to your vision.
And to me, you said, while still connecting to your heart, list all kinds of activities you could do to complete the mission of the product company or what we want. So I look at those as action steps. So what are things that I can do to move in the right direction? And it really comes down to, well, what is it that I want? Am I living in congruency or contradiction? That was actually the title of Reverend David Alt's He has a YouTube channel as well, but that was his message this week, was on congruency and contradiction.
Beautiful.
And I thought, it really kind of is what I do and what I say, and it doesn't matter how big or small. Is it in the direction of what I want? So if I want to move, am I downsizing what I don't need? Am I looking at areas where I want to go? Am I planning for what I would need or not? And am I doing any little thing today to move in that direction?
Yeah, those are the external actions, and don't forget the internal actions. What am I accepting about the move? What do I get to let go inside of me to know I can find a place that is everything I want?
And knowing that whatever it is finding me. It's finding its way to me, not with pressure and, oh my, I need to. It's not about struggle or it's taking the painful parts out of it and
Right.
stepping into that place of, what can I do today to be who I choose to be? And if
Beautiful.
that's sharing love, that can be putting loving posts on Facebook. One of my things to do on my sheet. I'm old school. I guess it shows how old I am. I still send cards to people.
Love that.
Like to get cards in the mail, not just bills. They actually do like cards in the mail. I send birthday cards, get well cards. I send Easter cards. I really do. I don't send the Christmas card list, because
Love that.
People like getting something, and I even put stickers on it. And I know I'm infusing each one with love. Now, if I do that, I'm getting the good out of it. Yes,
exactly.
They're smiling because it's not just a card. It's literally got my handwritten message with all the little stickers, like a little kid all around it. And you know what? I love it. It feels good to me to send my love. Those are things that we can do to put love in the world. Well, what does that look like for anyone else? What is your intention? What are you here for? And if it's a business, what can your business do? If you can give it away, to be honest, and still be doing what you're doing. So if you offer your services somewhere so that you can be found, we think, well, I can't, I need to be able to make, yes, but by giving it, you're being that. When you're sitting at home, you're not being a whatever it may be.
Yeah. And, if you're a master healer, part of being a master healer is receiving from your healing. And, your business is probably your bus ticket to receiving what you want.
Yes.
Right. So how are you using your bus ticket?
Spirit can only work through us.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that we forget sometimes that energy, or that kindness, that love, in the act of doing it, we receive.
Yes.
That's how we can live our life in everything that we do. So I appreciate that, it's coming up with, okay, so what is the next right thing? And the last
divinely inspired action.
Yes, creating. But I like how you said it, because I'm someone that it's tricky with. You didn't just say that. You said creating trust. And I'm like, because that really struck a chord with me. Because, the word discipline for a long time in my life was like a 4-letter word. So now, like, it's saying I'm going to do something, if it was for someone else, it gets done.
Of course.
For me, is a different level. So part of creating trust is, you say the first step to creating clarity around action is to trust. Ask divine intelligence, place in your body the feeling of trust and knowing that it is safe for you to take the action.
Yeah, trust is an active participation. You have to keep choosing trust. And I think most people are like, great, I'm going to trust. And then they are like, well, what am I trusting? Right? I think people also think that trust means that everything's going to work out in the end. Trust really is meaning that you're activating that you're going to be safe no matter what.
It says, now look over your list of activities, and in this place of knowing and trust, select the first activity that you get to do. And I think that wording is great too. We get to do these things. We have freedom. We live in a country that is free, physically able to pick up a phone and call someone, physically able to be able to do, go, and think a certain way, read what we want. So that too is a big deal, is because if I'm not getting where I want to go and I'm not doing these things, it's because I'm either consciously choosing not to or allowing everything else to distract me.
Right. Or you have a serious block in your energy that you need to, because you can't see the trees through the forest, that you need to touch base with someone who can actually support you.
Exactly. And there's no guilt, no shame in that. It's getting what we need to help us along the way. And
exactly.
It's so important, that we remember that the should, woulds, and coulds will only keep us from our success.
Agreed.
So I love that. And you said, remember what your soul says is profound. If you receive an answer that brings more questions, that you're here they could reach out to you. And that's the whole thing, is that when we don't understand, we weren't born with the answers to all the questions. Sometimes we need to step out of our comfort zone to get to that next step in life.
Yeah, and knowing that, and activating the trust to keep. Sorry, the dog just jumped up. Activating the trust to keep getting there, right?
And knowing that you're worth it.
Yeah.
That's another part of it. I've many times, and I've even done it. Well, I can't go see that person because, well, right now financially. But the truth is, if that coach is going to help you break out of where you are and into that next realm of life, if that coach or that whatever that person may be helps you to be successful, you're investing in yourself.
Yes.
Just like when you took a class, just when you went to college, just like only this is someone that's going to help you one-on-one figure out what you need.
And you have to go with your gut. You never buy a coach based on fear, right? So you have to really tune in and go, is this in my greatest good of all? Or are they kind of plucking some sort of, fear inside of you? That's not a coach for you.
And, and whether it's a coach or whether it's, a minister or whether it's whatever you need, there is help.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
to encourage people, part of, I believe, the restlessness brings anxiety and depression. I think that they can be hand in hand in a lot of ways, and they mask. Anxiety comes up for a lot of people. It's a real thing. And I can remember, a counselor telling me, and I'm like, I had depression and anxiety. Me? What? I can't have that. I wrote books on joy. I can't be there. Yet, as a result of the loss of my mother and several other people and everything else that was going on, yes, I ended up in, and it's okay. This the social stigma of, well, what does that mean? And I can't have that. And not wanting people to know as if I'm different. Everybody has anxiety sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone gets sad sometimes. Some people do need medication. Some people do not. But it's important that we address it. That's like saying, well, I might have broken whatever limb, God forbid, but but I'm not going to look at it. And it'll heal, but it might heal wrong and you might be in pain the rest of your life. Why would you not look at it?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people experience fear with that. And they're afraid of what that means to them. Right? But it's okay. right? It's okay to make those changes. It's okay to allow yourself to know that there's something bigger inside of you and to make those changes.
And on that note, I want to make sure we get to very important roar. You have you actually have is it a conference?
It's a live event in person. It's 2 days in Tarrytown. It's really about realigning and aligning your voice and your vision. It's all content. Sometimes people go to events and there's a lot of pitching or selling. There's no selling, no pitching here. We're going to really dive deep into your mission and really understand your divine support for that mission, your human support for that mission, what that vision is, and how to actually do the tangible to receive that mission in a bigger way.
So it's 2 full days of
amazing content.
And I believe it's Thursday, Friday, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So just so people know, they can reach out to you, and I'm going to put your contact message information there.
Thank you. So it's really it's not on the website. It's an invitation. So if this is interesting to you, reach out to me and we can talk about it in depth. The people who are showing up are freaking amazing. And so there's only 20 people coming, and it's an intimate, in-person, live coaching as well. So if this resonates with you, if you want to align your voice and your vision, please reach out.
Wonderful. That sounds amazing. And I love that it's called Roar.
Me too.
Well, I'm a Leo, so I absolutely love that it's called Roar. And that's really what it's about, is finding our voice.
Exactly. And I think most people, in one way or another, even if they're successful, still feel that that voice is being stifled. And this is really about unleashing that. It's really about accepting and knowing your power and being able to utilize it in grace and know that you're safe to do so.
And it was given to you. You know, that's one of those things that we have these gifts. And when we don't use them, it's the equivalent of somebody giving us a birthday present and then just putting it on a shelf and walking away. Doesn't matter what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. We just walk away from it. You know, and sometimes we don't claim, you know, how good we are at things. You know, it's like, oh, this whole thing, oh, anybody could do that, or anybody. We really, I know for me, I was raised to do that. Those false beliefs, those habits came from how I was raised. And it's learning how to change it and honoring ourselves in a different way, not in arrogance. There's a huge difference there. We're not talking about arrogance in any way, but simply being in a place of knowing what we're good at and knowing that, you know, even Jesus said the Father within me does the work.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you believe in, know that some people are better at some things than others. And it's giving yourself the chance to do it. You know, so I love that. I do definitely love that. And, you know, it's funny. I used to run I taught a class. It was called Learn to Earn program, that basically it was for people that were on welfare, helping them get back into the workforce. And in the matter of, you know, 2 weeks, I would have these people who some had never worked, some it was physical, mental, all different reasons for. Some of it had been a long time, and some of them still were physically disabled in different ways. And one of the parts of it was creating a business. And there were some business plans that came together in a week that were feasible, that they could do, that, like, without a question, this was something that could work in their lives.
Wow.
And they, you know, whether it was, there was someone who couldn't work, for example, fibromyalgia, and had a lot of physical stuff, could work, but at her time, not regular hours. But she could do this type of renovations and, you know, all kinds of like refinishing chairs and stuff like that when she felt up to it. So she couldn't do it from 2 to 4 this many days a week, but she could do it throughout the week.
Wow.
So it was something we know inherently what can work for us if we let it go. And and it was a business plan that really could have worked in her life. So there were a lot of things. People have dreams. They've thought of opening restaurants, or they've thought of, doing things, not just vacations, but living their life differently. What do you
Yeah.
tell people when they come to you and feel, because a question that I've had people that were in the tops of their field but weren't happy. What do you tell people?
I tell them that happiness is something that's available to everyone, and what feels, what beliefs are causing their unhappiness, and what do they think that they need to change internally, or what do they believe about themselves that is causing the unhappiness. And then lastly, we work on the external. Like, what do you want to change externally? I think people believe the changing of the externally is going to change the internally, and it just doesn't. It helps, but it doesn't get the same problems are the same problems. Wherever you go, there you are, right? And so we have to change the internal landscape so you're happy.
Yes, and also knowing that you're worth it.
Exactly.
Because how are we allowing people to treat us? I've known people that in their professional life, they were on top of the world and people treated them like gold. And then at home, they were completely disrespected.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's cultural, sometimes there's a million different reasons, but we have to honor ourselves or no one's going to honor us. And we're not going to experience that, the divine qualities within us when we're not being loved and respected and feeling at peace at home. Or vice versa. You can't be disrespected at work and think you're going to have a good life.
No, it's I was speaking to a client today who has been really disrespected from almost every coach she's had. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that stops. Second of all, let's talk about where you can profoundly accept yourself, so then you can attract people who are profoundly respectful for you.
Yes. There's so many things that we could go on and on about. And I really appreciate, I'm excited about your roar. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I wish I was in that area, but it sounds amazing. Your 2-day, are you calling it a conference, or what are you calling it? Just a training?
I'm calling it an in-person event. Okay. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I want to make sure people know that they can reach you for coaching. And you always have different workshops, different types of things that are pretty amazing. I know one of the things you actually did, you used Star Trek. It was a class on Star Trek to talk about the spiritual principles that were part of it. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Because, it really, it is. There's a lot of things behind it. So, there's some fun stuff that you put out. Again, I encourage people to go to your website and sign up for your newsletter, because there's some great.
Thank you. Sorry,
don't worry
dog
about
is going at it.
We love it. Okay.
So you can see me jump every time she barks. I jump a little.
Thank you for being here, and
thank you.
Anything that you'd like to leave people with?
I want people to remember that they're whole and complete. And if they remember that they're whole and complete, they have to trust everyone like they're whole and complete.
Yes, let's be that love, right? Let's be that change that we wish to see. And knowing that, we don't have to do everything, but we can do something.
Exactly.
So let's just be that something. Let's do that something that's ours to do. Thank you for being here and being part of this, and and making change in the world today.
Right back at you. I'm glad we're on the same team.
Yes. Blessings and love to all. I wish you all a wonderful week. Have fun. Look for the joy. Choose joy. Remember, it's right there within you. And if you need help finding it, you know where to go. Blessings and love to all. Namaste.